Are you ready for some smart, plain talk on politics, Israel, and the law? It's the Andrew Parker Show. Let's roll. Welcome to another episode of the Andrew Parker Show. I'm Andrew Parker, and I say thank you as we talk politics, Israel, and the law every week on the show. And we're on episode, I believe it's 425. Yes, indeed. And there has been a lot to talk about, particularly as it relates to the Middle East and as it relates to the state of Israel. An episode coming up very shortly on Western civilization and the importance of the state of Israel to the moral construct and fabric of the entire world, or at least as it relates to Judeo-Christian values upon which Western civilization has been grounded for the millennia. And frankly, would suffer greatly and maybe be destroyed without the Jewish people, without the state of Israel. So the issues at hand for the United States and the Western powers to confront the malign attempts to destroy the Jewish people, to destroy the state of Israel, go far beyond simply the Jewish people and the state of Israel. Goes to the very core of the moral fabric of Western ideals. So along those lines, we have a peace deal thrown out there, a 20-point peace deal. I talked about it in the last episode. You should take a look. I talked briefly about it. Along the lines of a 20-point peace plan for Gaza is the question, does this march us toward peace in the Middle East? And what I want to suggest is, in some ways, we are closer to peace in the Middle East, as I've said on the show a number of times, than for many, many years, for many decades, in fact, closer now. And how is that? Well, it is because the Arab nations have decided, in general, possibly to stop their attempts to destroy the state of Israel. There are still a few that definitely want to take advantage and see if they can take another run at the total destruction of the state. Talking here, of course, about Iran. It's not an Arab country. It's a Persian nation, but radical Islamic controlled for sure. Turkey in a different vein, but similarly desirous of the eradication of the state of Israel. Egypt is becoming a much more difficult partner than it has been for a number of years with the state of Israel. We'll see how that plays out. So the landscape is not without its landmines. However, overall, there may well be additions to the Abraham Accords, which could lay the groundwork for peace. But ultimately, as it relates to the Palestinians, which is not the number one issue or the key issue, even though Western Europe would like to make it such, it certainly is not. The Palestinians, once they want peace, they can decide to have peace. The arms are wide open and have been for decades by the state of Israel, by administration upon administration, not just Netanyahu, but others, left, right, and center, have had their arms open for a real peace, a lasting peace, for a desirous peace. Palestinians instead have launched intifadas, terrorist attacks repeatedly, and have not ceased for even a moment over many decades, even during the Oslo Accords, which many of you may remember from distant memory. But most importantly, what they have done is incited through their broadcast media, through their education systems in particular, and raised kids who are walking time bombs within the Palestinian community, to hate the Jews, to hate the state of Israel, and to strive for a future of martyrdom. And in fact, the Palestinians, as you all know from listening to this show, as well as just understanding current events, have been paying families of those who commit suicide bombing and kill Jews. You get paid for doing that in the Palestinian in Palestinian society by the moderates in Palestinian society. Pay for slay. As long as that is going on, and it has been for decades now, or for at least a decade, I think a couple, frankly, there isn't going to be room for peace because generations have been raised to hate. That needs to be reversed. And then we can have peace because, as I say, Israelis have had their arms open to it. But what is this 20-point peace plan that Donald Trump has hailed as a breakthrough towards peace, and he has taken full credit for it? I think he should be a little bit cautious about taking full credit because it may end up being a total disaster. Hamas's top leaders, political leaders, negotiators, those who have not been eliminated, such as Khalil al-Hayya, who touts himself as the top negotiator for this terrorist organization. I don't know what the word negotiation and Hamas, why they should be anywhere near in the same sentence. There can be no negotiation. This is an unconditional surrender, and that's what it should be. But to the extent that Trump wants to put it out there as a peace deal, Hamas is admitting that they do not have control over what is going on in Gaza. They do not have control over the on-the-ground grassroots fighters that remain in Gaza and that hold the hostages. These political leaders are in Qatar in their, multi-million-dollar homes and apartments, treated like kings by the Qataris. That's the reality. Ezzedine al-Haddad, again, remember this name, Ezzedine al-Haddad, took command of Hamas's armed wing in Gaza after the death of the Sinwar brothers. First, Yahya Sinwar. Remember, he was eliminated by the Israelis. He was the head of their militant wing. And then his brother, Muhammad. Now it's Ezzedine al-Haddad. And he's told mediators, I'm open to compromise. Well, why aren't we just listening to Khalil al-Hayya, the top negotiator? Well, because they don't agree. And one has the guns on the ground holding the hostages and the other's in Qatar. And they don't agree. Haddad said he's willing to hand over rockets and heavy weaponry to Egypt and the UN, but not small arms such as rifles that they claim are defensive. So they can still use those to kill Israeli kids who are in the IDF. And the bottom line is fighters have expressed their unwillingness to disarm, no matter what the leaders decide. This is what the mediators for Hamas are saying. So what are the demands? Hamas's statement last week, several days ago, called for further negotiations to discuss the details of a deal. That doesn't sound like acceptance of a deal. They, in fact, are out speaking loudly about the fact that this deal appears only to be a 72-hour truce, as they don't trust Israel's intentions. Well, Hamas, the intentions are clear in the deal. They are done, finished, over with, and never will have control over Gaza or any place in Gaza. And that's the end game. Let's hear what Lindsey Graham has been studying this, has been a vocal advocate for peace regarding the Middle East and the Arab-Israeli conflict and the Palestinian-Israeli conflict for many, many, many years. And Senator Graham has criticized Hamas's position. And now, a word from our sponsors. A record of success second to none. Parker Daniels Keyboard Law Firm, the numbers tell the story. The last 5 cases our lawyers have brought to trial have resulted in million and multi-million-dollar verdicts for our plaintiff clients and 0 defense verdicts for our defense clients. Put simply, we try cases and we win cases. Hi, I'm Andrew Parker. At Parker Daniels Keyboard, we take our work personally and we go the extra mile. That is why some of the biggest law firms, locally and nationally, send cases to us to handle when they can't. If you have a challenging and critically important business or personal legal dispute that must be favorably resolved, whether regarding a contract matter, a business divorce, a real estate dispute, an employment dispute, a civil rights or defamation matter, plain talk, if it's a big deal, contact us at Parker Daniels Keyboard. Wise counsel, winning results. Go to parkerdk.com. Looking to reduce your tax liability and grow your portfolio? Consider Texas-based Texacoma Resources. They have been delivering results for over 40 years in energy investments. Investors may benefit with strategic advantages like depreciation, depletion, and drilling, but should consult their tax advisors for their specific situation. Call True North Investment at 612-968-3442 to learn more. That's True North Investment, 612-968-3442. Texacoma Energy that works for you. Regarding this peace plan, calling it predictable, he said, quote, no disarmament, keeping Gaza under Palestinian control, and tying hostage release to negotiations. This is, in essence, a rejection of Hamas, by Hamas, of President Trump's take it or leave it proposal. Now, unfortunately, Trump is starting to soften as it relates to take it or leave it, and that is dangerous because it must be a take it or leave it offer. And what negotiation position does Hamas have anyway? Well, they're holding the hostages, Parker. Yes, they are. And they need to be released and released immediately. You can't give up security of the citizens in the state of Israel due to these hostages, and it's sad. Hamas must be destroyed. And remember, the release of these hostages is coupled with the release of 2,000 Palestinian prisoners, 250 of whom are serving life sentences, which are not handed out swiftly or easily in the state of Israel. Blood on their hands, life sentences. They're all being released. Does that create a peace plan? Is that going to bring about peace in the Middle East? Releasing these savages? The problem that exists right now is that Hamas has shifted to a decentralized structure because they've effectively been destroyed. Smaller units are operating independently. I don't know if Hamas's political negotiators agreed to this 20-point plan, lock, stock, and barrel, without any shift or change, that they could carry it out in any event. Al-Haddad and other senior leaders exercise only limited control over the actual units on the ground. That creates an enormous problem. Gaza City is nearly completely controlled now by the Israelis, but many of these terrorists have moved south to Rafah, etc. Most of the civilians have now evacuated Gaza City, and it is going to be completely depleted. It will be of Hamas terrorists. It will be rebuilt, and Palestinians who wish to come back can do that. And without Hamas involved at all, and without militant Palestinians involved at all, it can be rebuilt, never to again be the launching pad of a terrorist missions against the Jewish state. Sadly, I believe it is going to have to be a fight to the end. That's what I believe. I hope I'm wrong about it. Because those who are still fighting against the IDF and are holding the hostages will in all likelihood never give them up, even if the Hamas Qataris, we can call them, sign on the dotted line. I'm Andrew Parker. Thank you for listening. The Andrew Parker Show, sponsored by Parker Daniels Keyboard, premier litigation law firm, downtown Minneapolis. Go to theandrewparkershow.com to subscribe, to follow. Check us out on YouTube and your favorite social media platform. We're across the board. Again, go to the Andrew Parker Show. Send us an email. Get on our email list. Until next time, be kind to your neighbor. For more smart, plain talk, go to theandrewparkershow.com. Learn about all of your listening and viewing options. And remember, all the great things are simple, and many can be expressed in a single word: freedom, justice, honor, duty, mercy, hope. This episode of The Andrew Parker Show is sponsored by Parker Daniels Keyboard and True North Private Investments.
Did your employer make you sign a promissory note when joining the company, and now you want to leave, but you're afraid your firm will pursue you personally for that debt? This is Jesse Keyboard from the law firm Parker Daniels Keyboard. I recently represented a client who had signed such a note, and I was able to get them out of their $500,000 debt to their company, which allowed them the freedom to exit a bad employment situation and enter a much better one. Meeting our clients' objectives is our focus at Parker Daniels Keyboard, and in this regard, we win. Our experienced trial team of lawyers at Parker Daniels Keyboard have secured major victories in state and federal courts across the country and through arbitration. We have the legal expertise in all types of business disputes, labor and employment matters, real estate matters, shareholder disputes, financial transactions, security issues, and appeals. For wise counsel, winning results, contact us at Parker Daniels Keyboard, a premier litigation law firm that provides efficient, aggressive, and innovative solutions to complex legal problems. Wise counsel, winning results. Go to parkerdk.com.
Looking to reduce your tax liability and grow your portfolio? Consider Texas-based Texacoma Resources. They have been delivering results for over 40 years in energy investments. Investors may benefit with strategic advantages like depreciation, depletion, and drilling, but should consult their tax advisors for their specific situation. Call True North Investment at 612-968-3442 to learn more. That's True North Investment, 612-968-3442. Texacoma Energy that works for you.